William Blake once said, "If the doors of perception were cleansed, everything would appear to man as it is, infinite. For man closes himself up, till he sees all things through narrow chinks in his cavern." Perception is a fickle thing indeed. In today's episode of the Twilight Zone, we will be investigating what people notice, and we will be surprised at what they don't. Are people really aware of their surroundings? This seems like a simple question, but you will soon find out that things are not what they seem in the Twilight Zone. Before we can see a demonstration of how truly twisted and warped reality is here, we must talk about vision and perception in other scientific literature. In an article published in 2000, researchers Noss, Pesca, and Thompson found that people frequently do not notice changes in their surroundings. It shows the reader how vision is not like television. A television is high-resolution, constant picture. Vision can be much more detailed than a camera, but it can only focus on a few things at once. At the end of the day, people notice what they want to notice, nothing more and nothing less. Change blindness is a term for when people are blind to changes in their environment. Our experiment tries to test this phenomenon and see if it works on students at NMSU. Our hypothesis is that we will see more people respond to a significant change than the less significant change. Our experimental method is simple. Experimentals will send an observer that finds the subject selecting for ones that are not wearing headphones in a certain section of the library. Then we'll approach with the first experimenter. This experimenter will ask for the subject's name and then a writing utensil to get them to notice them later. Then after about 3 minutes, the experimenter will switch with a different person, a small, medium, or large change. They will sit back down and work for a bit, then return the writing utensil and thank the subject by name to get their attention. If the subject says something, their response is considered positive. Next, we will see a dramatic replay of this experiment.
You're traveling through another dimension. A dimension not only of sight and sound, but of mind. A journey into a wondrous land whose boundaries are that of imagination. Your next stop, the Twilight Zone.
Hi, do you have a pencil?
Yeah, sure.
What's your name?
Cameron. Go. Yeah.
Hey, Cameron. Here's your pencil.
No problem.
Hi, what's your name?
Cameron.
Can I borrow a pencil, please?
Sure. Here.
Thanks.
Okay, alright, go. Bye. All right, Cameron. Well, here's your pencil bag. Thanks. And take care of yourself. Cameron, our subject, was very confused by the Twilight Zone. When one's perception collapses, reality itself is called into question, and anyone would spiral into insanity. While this shows our procedure, it is a dramatic reenactment. In our actual experiment, we used separate switches for separate subjects. We also did all of it on the second and third floor of Zool. Of course, in the actual experiment, the same subject is not used 3 times. Our results are very counterintuitive, however. Most responses were given after the least significant change. Although this does not mean much, however, since our results were not significant. Our p-value was 0.26, clearly below the threshold of 0.05. This means that our hypothesis is not accepted. Our hypothesis was that the more significant responses would provoke more responses. However, our data shows the opposite. At the end of the day, our results do not confirm the opposite hypothesis either, since we do not have statistical significance. All this information must be translated to the greater scientific community. Due to our lack of significance, our experiment does not really add to the wealth of knowledge about change blindness. Perception is still a mysterious thing, and people often do not notice what we would assume they would. The previously mentioned article discusses this. They say, these experiments call into doubt the traditional view that vision is a process in which detailed representations of the environment must be constructed. Our experiment does, even if not with significance, show that perception is not as simple as most people think it is. Our experiment did not show or did not do the best job at proving our hypothesis. If we could do it again, we would find some way to record a response without needing a verbal comment. This issue of standardizing a response might explain why our data turned out so backwards. People may not want to respond if they can clearly tell it's a different person, but if they're unsure, they may be more likely to say something. Also, having a broader sample size of all types of people with all ages would help. Our 12 participants were not enough to get significant results, but since our procedure took about 15 minutes each time, we did not have time to get 20. Also, having a place that is better suited for recording than a public library would be nice as well. For a moment, walk with me through the horrors of not trusting your perception. Imagine a world where everything you see could be a lie. This, like the Twilight Zone, would be a dark place, full of pain and trials. Yet the scariest fact of all is that this world is the real world we inhabit. Be careful what you trust in the Twilight Zone and beyond.